Design is human. It's about people. It's about life. We've designed everything around us since the beginning of time. The things that we see, the things that we hear, experience, and feel. And in this evolving digital frontier that we are calling the metaverse, there are opportunities to do things that we never thought were even possible. But with innovation comes responsibility, and there will be many challenges that we must face and overcome together. I've often wondered, how do we create balance between humanity, technology, and the environment in a world that is already constructed? It's as though we are designing against the grain. This is something that many of us are trying to figure out at this technological tipping point. I personally have spent countless hours of my life, especially in the last few years, really thinking about this, thinking about how to create amazing, innovative, and artistic immersive experiences using technology, but while still doing our part in this world to protect our people and to protect the environment. And what I've realized is that collective thinking around design is holding us back. It's become mechanical, a series of conflicting checklists and linear conventions, components of production cycles. We don't always think about design as coming from within, as inherent to our species, the human. So today I will discuss 5 immersive design considerations for the metaverse outside of these technical checklists and processes. These are considerations that are a little more qualitative, sometimes a little harder to wrap our minds around and transfer that knowledge into meaningful action. These are the things that impact our decision making and the world we live in, whether we realize it or not. And when we make this connection more mainstream, I truly believe that we can evolve the world by pioneering what artistic but responsible immersive design looks and feels like, and what the metaverse should evolve to become and to include. My name is Natasha Rabsatt, and I am an experienced designer, strategist, multi-dimensional being, an explorer traveling to see the bones of the world and to learn for the future of humanity. I have medium brown skin and dark hair that is pulled back. I'm wearing a black shirt, red lipstick. Before we get into the considerations, let's discuss immersive design for common understanding. Feel free to leave comments or questions. I will do my best to answer. Thank you for joining me today. Immersion itself is not new. Some may think that it all came out of the gaming industry, but it's actually been around for centuries in two-dimensional experiences. Stained glass windows were constructed to imbue a sense of otherworldliness by bathing the church's interior with colored light. They were designed to provide churchgoers with a sense of direct contact with the divine. And through visual stories, they were able to communicate with a largely illiterate population. It was a form of visual storytelling. Today, we have more capability with hardware, software, and infrastructure to support bigger, more elaborate, immersive events and experiences. Immersive design is a cross-disciplinary practice where storytelling and narrative design meet immersive technologies, interaction, multimedia, and beyond. Immersive technology creates a realistic digital landscape where users have this overwhelming feeling of being there. This is known as presence or telepresence, where they can experience an environment uniquely and be any and everything that they want to be, whether that is a human, humanoid, or beyond. Immersive technologies to include blockchain, virtual reality, augmented reality, and technologies blood artificial intelligence. These are technologies that create a bridge to the metaverse. The metaverse itself comprises of many layers of technology and infrastructure at the deepest layers. But when we talk about experience, we're talking about that top layer, sometimes referred to as the experience layer. 5 considerations for the future of immersive design in the metaverse. Consideration 1, access starts with everyone at every level every day. Access is reinforced by everyone. When we talk about access, many times we are talking about infrastructure, technological, social, economic, environmental, physical, and political barriers that prevent people from participating, benefiting, or learning. When it comes to access, we are all gatekeepers or reinforcers per se in some shape or form, reinforcing learned societal habits. Access matters because we have the opportunity to open or to close the world, open or to close the metaverse. Research suggests that approximately 60% of the world have access to the internet. Large portion of that is predominantly through mobile devices. But what we are also seeing is that there is a big gap of people who do not have access at all. We're looking at approximately 40%. When we think about the metaverse and all its possibilities, please note that not everyone can participate because they simply do not have a seat at the table with the most basic technology or infrastructure to get started. And having a mobile device does not mean that it is capable or has the proper storage capacity to leverage apps and advanced experiences. But we ask, so who is responsible for helping those who do not have access? Their countries, their communities, their governments, charity organizations, nonprofit? Is it someone else? When we consistently create experiences for those with access only, we may sometimes inadvertently perpetuate a closed world, a closed metaverse, which furthers the gap. UNESCO is urging countries to invest in science, technology, and innovation. We are at a critical point where people in certain countries and communities are getting locked out of commerce, opportunities to grow, opportunities to live. Web3 and ethos around decentralization may provide a vehicle for some level of access, but we still need everyone's help to open the world and to invest in communities who cannot invest for themselves. Consideration 2, humanity and nature are one. We must design with both in mind. And this is because to create or to design, we need to breathe first, meaning that we cannot live and breathe air without some semblance of the natural world or environment. Over the last few decades, there's been a lot of concern around the environmental impact of technology and the things that we do as humans. Research conducted by the psychology department at Carleton University in Canada suggested that maybe one of the main reasons why people in modern day society are not sufficiently engaged in environmental actions is they are detached from the natural world. Much of the world is living in urban population centers with limited or without interaction with nature. Essentially, many people are seeing the natural world as separate from their existence. It is estimated that the metaverse will substantially increase the environmental impact because of the technologies that lie within. Everything from increases in carbon emissions related to AI models, transitions of gaming platforms to cloud and blockchain and Bitcoin proof of work systems that are not leveraging renewable energy. Even activities such as mining for minerals are leading allegedly to armed conflicts in countries, labor violations, and other second and third order effects such as pollution, wealth loss, and health crisis. On the positive side, reduction in carbon emissions due to travel is happening. There are other shifts, leaps, and innovation as well, but we are barely scratching the surface here. It has been said that nature is therapeutic, and immersive design can help to simulate that feeling in virtual reality. But will we simulate nature indefinitely? I'm not sure. But we still need to breathe first. And if we do not take care of and mind our environmental impact, these virtual worlds and immersive experiences can potentially become negative, feeding the destruction of real world environments that many forms of life, to include animals, depend on, that we as humans depend on, actualizing the dystopian society that modern day cinema remains fixated upon. At a minimum, we can commit to raising our awareness for the long term and to partner with others to create meaningful solutions. Consideration 3: design ethos matter. Either way, end users will feel the difference, especially those who have not been planned for. Ethos essentially are our beliefs or guiding ethics. The chart on the screen shows a traditional creative workflow, which includes things like research, design, development, testing, implementation, business strategy, but intention is often left off. Intention drives vision, which drives decision making and business strategy and so forth. It's almost like a chain reaction. These come from our design ethos. The intention comes from our design ethos. Designers and developers are often placed under conditions to essentially overcome every obstacle. And this is often expected within a singular production cycle. Intention can be thought of as invisible design, the first real design before a creative process. So if we intend to create a product that restricts access, for example, we trigger a chain reaction that follows and fulfills that request. If we intend to create an exclusive product or immersive experience or virtual world, we still have to be mindful in every step to fulfill the request. It is not automatically fulfilled, and we need to evolve it, as people are not static. Intention can be influenced by the need for speed in bringing a high-tech product to market. This is also applicable to immersive design solutions on the metaverse. Speed oftentimes enhances a business's opportunity to earn market share and financial opportunity. Resourcing, strong design ethos, support, and consistency are needed at all levels to achieve an inclusive design. Organizations can benefit from layers of experts in design and technology, those who truly and deeply understand design and can lead organizational efforts appropriately. These are your most experienced designers, not solely based on aesthetics or shipping products, but those who are versed academically, theoretically, socially, strategically, technically, analytically, the whole spectrum. Consideration 4: to create quality immersive experiences or virtual worlds in the metaverse, we need to design from the edge. Design for the most needs first, not the other way around. The term intersectionality, coined by Kimberly Crenshaw, discusses how everyone carries an overlapping web of various identities with them at all times, and this can place people in positions of more or less advantage. Need to tap into intersectionality as we envision and create immersive experiences. Avatar embodiment is an area of real promise and of real concern. Embodiment can be thought of as seeing and feeling yourself inside of another body, a virtual body, an avatar. And with this research, people who have negative experiences in other race or ethnicity avatars are more likely to increase racial bias, but positive experiences, on the other hand, have the opposite effect. It's not just about adding diversity in avatar, colors, shapes, hair, or understanding the layers of identity, but really about how we design and build social community norms that guide human exchange in virtual worlds. Designing from the edge means not leaving people out because it's easier to think of people in established categories or in limited psychographic profiles or personas. In terms of accessibility, research from the World Health Organization suggests that there are approximately 1 billion disabled people in the world, 20% with great functional difficulty. Accessibility is important because the vast majority of the population can have one or more disabilities at any given time. And people with disabilities have a collective buying power of $8 trillion. And despite this, some research suggests that a lack of accessibility has become normalized. And I think this is also related to the need for speed. We need to get products to market quickly, and sometimes we're not able to really learn more about people and to design from the edge. It is important to avoid ableism, or the belief that everyone perceives the world from an abled body and mind only. This should be avoided in immersive design, especially as there are a lot of equipment, especially in virtual reality. Everything from the use of controllers, haptic devices, and head mounted displays. And many times those are developed and thought of from the point of view of somebody who is able bodied. Whether the experience is live or immersive event, 2D experience, digital experience, NFT, or takes place on a mobile device or behind a screen, it is important to increase our understanding of accessibility and then to implement it through design. The gaming industry has had to grapple with many of these concerns over the years, and they really have a lot of insight to offer. And I think we can learn a lot from that and do better with how we're designing. None of us will be perfect with designing and creating, but we can definitely commit to doing better than we did the day before. Consideration 5. Color loudly outside the lines. Embrace art, embrace beauty. And we should embrace beauty not because it's beauty, because art is human, beauty is human. Visual design, sometimes known as visual communication, has been around from the beginning of time. We see this in early forms of communication and depiction, such as petroglyphs or other ancient carvings found in rocks and even caves throughout the world. I've personally seen quite a few of these myself in my world travels in places like the Midwest in the United States, New Mexico, in Egypt, ancient hieroglyphics, and beyond. In digital twin environments, visuals are extremely important, not just for the sake of artistic beauty, but for the association to the real world. There are points of contention in the design industry about putting too much or too little emphasis on visuals, art, and aesthetics. And while it is important to create inclusively and follow best practices with design, such as with research, knowing the audience, ensuring technical alignment and interoperability, art and beauty must also be achieved because these things, again, are fundamentally human. They are our life's blood. We are inspired by beauty. We gain a better understanding of our surroundings through visuals. And this is because the brain naturally processes visuals faster and more effectively than anything else to include words and sounds. The processing of visuals is a survival mechanism. Some people think that accessibility can make design boring, can make it aesthetically boring. Visuals can actually be used to help with accessibility. Really, what we are talking about in this conversation is the need for mindfulness around interactions that are not too fast, too flashy, and have inaccessible color palettes. We can do anything that we set our minds to. Responsible, beautiful, and innovative immersive experiences in the metaverse are possible. I hope that the considerations discussed today offer some points of conversation and thought for you and your business, organization, and in your social interactions with others. None of us can do this alone or will have the right answers every time. We really need programs, design programs that start with design ethos that are meaningfully attached to humanity and the environment. Thank you for engaging with me in this important conversation. The world belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams.